tell. The heart's filthy lesson with her 100 miles to hell.
In the month of May, Bill and Melinda Gates announced their impending divorce after 27 years of marriage. Not long after that, there was a flurry of mainstream media stories, probably instigated by Melinda's attorneys, suggesting that Bill was being ditched because of his skeevy ties to Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most famous billionaire child sex trafficker and black network banking facilitator. But that seems to be a limited hangout, at best.
Heidi? Who's been wearing Miranda's clothes?
Melinda was concerned about a relationship you had with Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time you met him in 2011 had been already convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor. The Times reported she hired divorce attorneys around the time in October 2019 when that contact with Epstein became public. Can you explain your relationship with Epstein? Did you have any concerns?
You can tell a lot about a man's character by the friends he keeps. And Jeffrey Epstein was likely a far closer friend to Bill Gates than even Melinda's attorneys want the public to know. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Daily Beast all claim the two men met dozens of times between 2011 and 2014. But that's as far as they'll go. While intrepid independent journalists like Whitney Webb have revealed that Gates and Epstein had a business alliance, or more likely, a semi-friendly relationship built on blackmail that went all the way back to the presidency of Bill Clinton. Another Epstein friend, let's not forget.
What I would argue with the Epstein thing is where they prevented stuff from going in a lot of cases was the science stuff. They did not want that. In the tech stuff, his ties, not just to Bill Gates, which I guess is open season now, but multiple Microsoft executives who were obviously compromised.
Something in our sky, something in our sky, something in our blood, something in our sky.
Epstein had a close relationship with Bill Gates. Bill Gates has tried really hard to cover up his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, extensively so. They were very involved, and their ties go back at least to the 1990s. This has not been reported by mainstream media, but it's documented. Okay, there's a 2001 report in the UK newspaper, The Evening Standard, about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew. It was essentially scrubbed from the internet for a variety of reasons, but I would argue one of those reasons is the fact that it says Jeffrey Epstein's closest business partners were three men: Leslie Wexner, Donald Trump, and Bill Gates. And this is in 2001, okay? Epstein victim, Maria Farmer, who was the first person to report Jeffrey Epstein to the FBI, says she witnessed Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein talking about Bill Gates like they knew him super well in 1995.
She's like, I've got to get the new vials.
Between those two things, I think there is plenty of reason to assume and believe that Bill Gates and Epstein knew each other long before 2011, which is the official story of their first meeting.
I think I've lost my way.
The fact that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates would have had business ties in the 1990s is very significant, because what Jeffrey Epstein did, in addition to his horrible crimes against girls and women, was he did shadow banking for intelligence agencies, and he laundered money. So what was Bill Gates doing with a guy who did that?
Paddy, what a fantastic death that is. Tell the others. Paddy, what a fantastic death that is. Tell the others.
Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
A cloud formation over Geneva, Switzerland. And what is in Geneva, Switzerland? You guessed it, CERN, the European organization that operates the Large Hadron Collider, smashing particles together, playing with fire, creating all sorts of weirdness, possibly a mini black hole one of these days, that would then grow and grow and grow and end up swallowing our entire planet.
Oppenheimer's key quotes revealed that he did not know what the effect of the detonation of the nuclear bomb would be. When they conducted the Trinity test, they were unaware as to whether or not this explosion would create a chain reaction that could actually destroy the whole Earth. And yet they proceeded forward because they believed that this weapon was the only way they could end World War II, and thus the ends justified the means.
What the deep state or the cabal or the New World Order is a small group of very powerful but very psychopathic individuals that have acquired a lot of money, a lot of technology, and a lot of information over the course of centuries.
Definitely your politicians, the older ones, the one that are chair people, that command the power, 1%ers, chairman of the boards, those people, that's they. That's ones we never know their names, don't know their faces, and they control all the power.
The more you get involved in these societies, the deeper and deeper you go, the more compromised you become. You start to learn more and more of the secret teachings. You have to work really hard for the knowledge. It can take years of time. You keep accessing higher and higher levels of rank, and they keep dropping these little seeds in as you go on. Seeds that start to blossom in your mind and make you think differently. Ultimately, if you go far enough down this road, you will be invited to participate in things like pedophilia and human sacrifice. And if you don't do it, it's the offer you can't refuse. They may actually even kill you. Once you partake in these activities, whether you like them or not, they now have leverage they can use against you. If you ever dare to speak out against this group, they have photographs, they have films, they have the footage that can absolutely ruin your life.
Ik hechtte weinig of geen geloof aan hun geloof, of ik was er eigenlijk niet eens van overtuigd dat het überhaupt allemaal wel bestond.
Het was meer een schouwspel voor jou?
Ja, ik zag gewoon de donkerte en de slechtheid en de diepte daarvan zit in de mens zelf.
Ja.
Ik koppelde het nog niet zo. Maar ook die kringen verkeerde ik dus in, omdat ja, als gast zeg maar, omdat ik vond het allemaal wel leuk. Al die blote vrouwen en al die dingetjes die daar speelden. Hè? Het was het vrije leven. Maar er kwam een moment, toen werd ik dus uitgenodigd, daarom vertel ik dit ook, om mee te gaan doen aan offers in het buitenland. Dat was het breekpunt. Kinderen.
Oké. Dat werd je gevraagd?
Ja, ik kon het niet.
We all want to live free from tyranny, at least in theory. But very few of us can say we haven't meted out some tiny tyrannies of our own. Perhaps we've eaten the slaughterhouse-processed flesh of chickens, cows, pigs, fish, and cute little lambs. Those creatures might have objected to that treatment if they'd had any say in the matter. Perhaps we've been a less than stellar parent, spouse, sibling, friend, or business partner, scourging with hatred those we were entrusted to care for and love. We all have some things to feel guilty about, if we're being honest with ourselves. But most of us know where to draw the major lines. Just because something can be done, that doesn't always mean it should be done. Only a narcissistic psychopath would think he deserves to star in a blowjob trilogy performed by poverty-stricken 12-year-old triplets, specially flown in from France for his birthday party. And only a scuzzy-minded billionaire sex trafficker like Jeffrey Epstein would threaten to throw his rape victims to Florida alligators and put a hex on a pregnant journalist's unborn twin sons. Only a software coding geek with the most anti-human impulses would team up with the daughters of Robert Maxwell, a key player in the Promise software scandal, to put a backdoor into the most ubiquitous computer operating system software on the planet, thereby making his customers' private information available to intelligence agencies, thieves, and foreign governments. If anyone wants to better understand how Bill Gates colluded with the Maxwell sisters and Mossad, I've already made a video about that. Only an ethics-free opportunist, beholden to large pharmaceutical corporations, would fund gain-of-function studies to weaponize a bat coronavirus that could then be patented and used as an excuse to put whole countries into lockdown, allowing those same corporations to make billions by selling experimental mRNA vaccines to a fear-controlled global populace.
Do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress. You do not know what you are talking about.
The demented Dr. Fauci made a similar dick move by fast-tracking the incredibly toxic drug, AZT, during the AIDS crisis, giving a huge boost to the stock price of its manufacturer, Burroughs Wellcome. He's also the kind of guy who would spend over 400,000 US tax dollars to infest beagles with flesh-eating parasites from biting flies, causing those beagles to suffer and howl in agony for months before they finally died.
It's horrifying.
The myth of modern science is that a bunch of wannabe Faust figures can wring the secrets from nature and make man into a god. That's not likely to happen. Instead, those Faustian fuck-ups are herding us, like the clueless dumb sheep they believe us to be, into a geo-fenced-in surveillance state corral where we'll be infested with the nanotech equivalent of biting flies and turned into sickened hosts for the data-hungry parasites of a compassionless technocracy. In the coming dystopia, we'll all be watched over by algorithms coded for maximum extraction by antisocial technofascists. If you thought that trying to resolve a billing dispute through your health insurance provider's website was already bad, it's about to get infinitely worse. The Fourth Industrial Revolution could become synonymous with for-profit totalitarianism. You'll own nothing, and it'll suck hard. If that vision seems too dark, I'll remind you that the predator class has a long history of colonization and enslavement. What's changed is that the technology now exists to target and colonize people on an individual basis through 5G-enabled smart grids and the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. It's no longer about colonizing new lands. The predator class now wants to colonize human bodies from the inside out. Maybe not by turning them into Matrix-style human batteries right away, but certainly by plugging people into the AI-controlled neurotech empire they're already building.
Check this out. See that TV over there? Yeah? Okay, if I walk up to it, it's gonna try and connect to it. Watch this. That's a cow, man. Let me see. There it is. What? Yeah. Everywhere I get the same message. I
Is it
walk
just
away.
this TV?
Nope. I walk away. Goes away.
Oh my God.
What if the relentless push to get everyone on the planet injected with experimental mRNA, possibly encased in nanobubbles of graphene oxide hydrogel, is really a way to kickstart a bio-nano slave society? What if vaccine passports are really the first step toward an inescapable digital blockchain ID and social credit score system that will create a permanent record of everything we buy or do and dominate every aspect of our lives, right down to dictating where we can work, who we can see, and when, or if, we're allowed to leave our homes? Sure, those are possibilities. But what if the poet was onto something when he wrote, "Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act, just once, with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest essence, something helpless that wants our love." Well, perhaps. Or maybe those dragons are just assholes.
A lot of what you're seeing as attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.